and read above the hills of Agbarusa, spirit walk among the living. On such a night, a child's cry through the silent palm forest, and the earth itself seems to pause. That was the night Peter was born. He came into the world when there was sky without star and mystery. His mother, Mama Esther, noticed baby did not cry. He only stared as though he already knew too much. His father, Adekunle, a humble palm wine tapper, held him and said, "This boy has the eyes of ancestors. His path will not be ordinary." Years pass. The kingdom of Agbarusa flourished. Thick forests, red earth, and river that gleamed like mirror of the sky. Peter grew into a handsome but restless young man. He was quick with his words, clever with his hands, and always hunger for more than the major yam his father farm or the hut they called home. His sisters, Esther, Dupe, and Okpeyemi, were the light of the household. Esther, the headess, was wise and motherly. Dupe was playful and kind. Okpeyemi, the youngest, sang to the wind and made even the tree dance. They worked hard, waving baskets and fetching water from the river. Peter often sat watching them, envy stirring in his heart. All this labor, he would complain, yet nothing changed. Dupe would smile softly. "Riches do not make peace, brother. The river flow, not because it owns the land, but because it listened to it." But Peter didn't want peace. He wanted power. One evening, as the sun bled into the horizon, Peter entered the forest, chasing the sound of a flute. It was a tune unlike any he had before, sharp, sweet, and sorrowful. He followed it until he reached an old tree. Its trunk twisted like a clenched fist. There, under the tree, sat a man cloud in shadow. His eyes are like burning charcoal. "You seek what you do not have," the stranger said without turning. "Who are you?" Peter asked. "I am the keeper of trade, Esau, the one who opens doors and closes them." Peter's heart sank. He had heard the elders speak of Esau, the straight-taker deity who tests man's heart. "If you desire wealth, you must offer what you hold dear," Esau said. "I have nothing," Peter said quickly, "only my family." Esau smiled, a smile that sliced through the dark like a blade. "Sometimes," he said, "family is enough." There was cold wind through the forest. When Peter blinked, Esau was gone. In his place, at the base of the tree, lay a small black calabash. Inside, it glowed dust like molten gold. When you speak their names into it, a voice will come from nowhere. "You shall have all you desire." Peter returned home unsettled mind. The calabash pulsed with light, promising wealth, glory, the power to command king. For days he resisted, but hunger and envy soaked him. He watched as his sister laughed, as they gave the last pieces of yam to the children of neighbors, as they thanked the gods for little. That night when the moon rose, Peter stepped outside. He heard the calabash close and said, "Dupe." The gust of winds burst through the hut. Inside, Dupe's laughter stopped mid-breath. When Peter ran back in, his sister was gone. In her place, a golden statue kneeling as if he's praying. The air smelled of burning palm oil. Greed never slept, but Peter only stared at the statues, its brilliance, its beauty. He fell to his knee and laughed through tears. "It works, by the God, it works." He sold the golden statues to a merchant from the east, who called him a miracle worker and paid him enough to build a mansion. Yet, wealth is an appetite that feeds itself. Soon he wanted more. Esther noticed her brother's sudden wealth. "Where is Dupe?" she asked. "We have not seen her in days. She went to the city," Peter lied. "She's helping our fortune." But the calabash shined again that night, glowing like fire in the dark. This time Peter said, "Esther." Lightning flashed, the wind shook, and again silence. Esther was gone. In her place stood another golden statue, smiling faintly as though caught mid-laughter. Peter wept that night, not for guilt, but from awe. "Even the gods envy me now," he said. The market women began to talk about him, the young man whose eyes glittered like dawn, whose pocket never empty, whose eyes glowed with something unnatural. But Opeyemi, the youngest, was not deceived. "Brother," she said one morning, "your laughter has changed. It no longer reaches your eyes. Where are our sisters?" Peter touched her cheek gently. "Do not ask questions that offend the gods." She turned away, her heart skipped. One night, Opeyemi heard voices in the courtyard, faint, calling her name. She followed the sound. There, under the tree behind their house, the two golden statues, faintly, and tears from their eyes. Opeyemi screamed. The statues turned their face towards her. "He traded us for dust that shine." Unrest, Opeyemi ran to the priest, Baba Mori, an old man whose blind eyes saw more than the living. After listening in silence, he spoke. "Your brother has opened the door to a realm of forbidden trade. The calabash he carries belong to Esau himself. Gold brought with it never sleep. When the cock crowed twice, the death will call his name." Opeyemi wept. "Can I save him? Perhaps," the priest said, "if his heart remember love before greed swallow it whole." But Peter could not save. When Opeyemi confronted him, begging him to destroy the calabash, "Do you think I will return to rag? I am greater than any king in Agbarusa." The calabash pulsed violently in his hand, as though alive. He lifted it, torn between greed and guilt. Opeyemi with a loud voice, but his voice cracked. Opeyemi's eyes filled with tears. "Brother, please." Then the ground split open, carrying the scent of iron and sorrow. From it emerged Esau, his eyes gleaming like two coal. "You have done well, child of destiny," Esau said. "3 trade for 3 witches. What will you ask now?" Peter fell to his knee. "I want my gold to live. I want my sister to return, but still bring me wealth." Esau laughed. "So be it. But now, this life bought with greed must pay with soul." He struck his staff into the earth, and statues cracked, light pouring from them, and the sister awoke, alive once more. For a moment, Peter rejoiced, until he saw their eyes. They were no longer sisters' eyes, but mirror of molten gold, empty and cold. He spoke in one voice. "Brother, you wanted gold. Now we are gold that works." From that night, Agbarusa changed. Whenever the sister walked, crop filtered, animal fled, and coin rained from the sky. Wealth filled the land, but it came hunger, sickness, and madness. Children fought over gold dust. Elders forgot their prayers, and river turned to mirror that showed only one greed. Peter sat in his mansion surrounded by riches, yet sleep never came. The golden sister walking around in halls, silent and waiting. Then one dawn, as the cock crowed twice, the ground opened. Esau laughter rolled across the kingdom. The calabash cracked open, and from it poured molten gold, flooding Peter's home. He tried to flee, but the gold wrapped around his leg, his chest, his throne. "Sisters, help me," he screamed. But then only watched their golden fakes mixed with tears that turned to coins as they fell. The last thing Peter heard was his own heartbeat turning to melter, then silent. When the sun rose over Agbarusa, the mansion was gone. In its place stood a statue of a young man kneeling, face frozen in regret, pure gold. The people gathered, weeping. Baba Mori spoke softly. Greed is a god that feeds on love. The hand that turned tears into gold will one day turn its own heart to stone. The golden sister vanished into the forest, never seen again. Some say they still walk around at night, their footsteps ringing like coins, singing to those who lost for wealth. And when the moon sits red above the hills, the guilt still sing. Beware the trade that costs the head, for Esau's road is paved with gold and sorrow. Years passed in the kingdom of Agbarusa, but the tale of Peter never truly ended. The elder said the earth under his mansion still breathed, that sometime when the rain fell hard upon the runs, you could hear weeping from the ground. The people feared the place. They call it Iluowo, the town of gold. No crop grew there, no bird sang, only the winds through the tall grass, crying fits of laughter, the laughter of a man who thought he could twist the gods. But beyond the mortal world, far beyond the reach of day and night, Peter's soul stayed restlessly. He awoke in the land where rivers ran backward and stars hung like dying ember. Before him stretched an endless path made of shimmering dust, each grain a face from the past. His sister's eyes gleamed in the darkness, watching. "Where I am?" Peter asked. "You are between what was and what will never be," a voice replied. He turned and saw a tall woman clothed in white feather. Her eyes were gentle yet endless. "Who are you?" "I am Olamira, the spirit of remembrance. I guide lost souls to the truth they refuse to see." Peter fell to his knee. "Then guide me back. I must make things right. I did not know." Olamira's expression did not change. Peter fell to his knee. "You knew, child of Agbarusa, but greed is a hunger that defies even the wise." She lifted her hand, and the dust around them began to move, shaping vision of his life, his sister's laughter, his mother's tears, the calabash, Esau under the tree. Even art leaves a mark on the world. You did not only trade tears for gold, you traded the balance for your land. "Then let me bear the cross, spare my people." Olamira's eyes softened. "Will you pay the price now with my soul?" The spirit nodded slowly. "Then you must walk the river of memory and face the one you call the one you obey. Esau, keeper of trade. Only he can unmark what he has made." The river of memory was not made of water, but of reflection. Every droplet a moment of regret, every ripple a broken promise. Peter walked barefoot along its edge, each step burning his feet with the weight of what he has done. From within the river, voices called, "Brother, we love you. You chose good. Why did you forget us?" He fell to his knees, tears mingling with a glowing current. "Forgive me," he cried. "Forgive me." A shadow rose from the river, tall, neither man nor beast. It was Esau, wearing a crown of smoke, smiling as if he had been waiting all eternity. "Ah, my golden child returned," Esau said. "Did the feast of wealth taste bitter at last?" Peter bowed low. "End it, Esau. Take what remains of me, but release my sister and my people from the curse." Esau laughed. "You misunderstand the trade, Peter. You cannot unmark what greed has sealed. You may only exchange it. Then take me in their place. You offer yourself to so late, so broken." Peter lifted his head. "Yes, for once, let something good come from me." For a moment, the trickster god was silent. Then he tapped his staff on the ground. The river exploded with light. "So be it. But know this, true payment demands, but living beyond desire." With that, Esau struck in. Peter awoke on the bank of river, alive. his body covered in golden dust around him. The land was silent, but the curse had lifted. The year smell of rain again, and distant drum of harvest echoed from the village. He stumbled towards the ruins of his mansion. There, amid the tall grass, stood three figures, his sister alive once more. Dressed in plain white clothes, the eyes were woman again, but filled with sorrow too deep for words. "Brother," Esther surprised, "why did you return?" "To beg for forgiveness," Peter said, kneeling before them. "You cannot undo what has been done," Dupe said softly. "But you can live to remember," Opeyemi added, and a voice drafted on the winds. A soul laughter fading to the distance. Agbarusa has learned. The road remains open for those who still hunger. Peter never left the ruins again. He built a small shrine where his mansion once stood, not of gold or marble, but of red clay and wood. There he lived as a hermit, teaching travelers who came seeking where to remember the story of his fall. He spoke not as a prophet, but as a man who had touched the edge of madness and returned with scare of light. The villagers came to call him Baba Owo, the old man of wealth, and they left offering at his shrine, not for gold, but for wisdom.